Hello, 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 hello. Why, hello, it is Greg, and my podcast is up and running. So, welcome everybody. I know setting it as a live stream is not necessarily effective, not necessarily great for views, not necessarily great for getting traction on my channel, but here we are. So, uh, thank you, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of Greggy P's podcast. Today, oh, today, welcome. I swear, nope. Okay, I swear I thought one of these was going to be applause, and hold on, I got it. Welcome, everybody. Yes, welcome. Today is a great day. Today is going to be a great podcast. I will get to why in just a second. I just want to thank you for tuning in, and I am going to keep talking and not say anything important for just a second. Just kidding. All right. So, welcome to the podcast. As my followers, all two of you may know, I want to let new listeners know that this podcast is just about me making content, about me making videos, about me starting my YouTube journey. Very recently, today is episode 8, and if I've been doing this every week, that makes this about the end of the second month of creating YouTube videos. And, not necessarily making YouTube videos, because a lot of this has just been me going live and calling it a podcast to an audience of nada. And you know what? That's okay. That's what I want. I just want to talk into a microphone and, practice my skills on talking, practicing my editing, learning the software, learning stuff in general. So, that's where I am. Thank you. Okay, but talking about becoming a creator, it kind of the whole change is kind of going from being a content consumer to a content creator. Now, what does that mean? It means I have spent a lot of time looking at my phone, a lot of time watching YouTube videos, a lot of time scrolling reels, a lot of time looking at TikTok, looking at Reddit, especially Reddit, to be honest. And I'm kind of realizing that a lot of the content that I was consuming also includes video games, just playing video games. Not necessarily that I want to become a video game developer, but, I spent a lot of time just consuming media. And here I am trying to change that. Here I am trying to, make something. I'm trying to have fun with it. I'm trying to make something good, make something that people might like a little bit, and maybe if you can relate, you know. Anyway, so kind of going into, this is a little bit about content consuming, but it really is kind of inspirational, because recently me and the girlfriend went to the My Chemical Romance concert at Target Field, and My Chemical Romance, I used to tease my sister for being emo because she listened to them and some other bands when we were younger. But to be honest, when I was there, I knew most of the songs, for not word for word, but a lot. I knew the songs quite a bit. So I definitely would consider myself a fan, even more of a fan now that I did get to see them. And if you're not familiar with My Chemical Romance, they have a tour based on their third album, I believe, The Black Parade, which has its own, they've been doing it for years as far as I know, where it has its own kind of like story, its own like set design that is really the same or follows similar guidelines every time. And it's quite a performance, really spectacular performance. I mean, the band is huge. They were at Target Field, which is a stadium. So if they have a stadium tour, you have to have quite a few fans. You have to have quite a few people, quite a lot of people willing to show up on a Monday for your show. So that as like someone that's aspiring to be not necessarily a rock star, but a content creator with an audience with fans, seeing something like that is just awe inspiring. To really think about it, I mean, there was definitely a time in my life where I had to stop and think about how, every famous person is just a person, no matter this kind of persona or look or image that they have or the following that they have. At the end of the day, they go to bed, they try to sleep 8 hours, they have to eat the breakfast, lunch, and dinner. They have friends and family that they talk to. They have hopes and dreams and a childhood, and they'll get old, and they have things that they care about, hobbies, interests, TV shows that they like to watch. So it really put it in perspective when I stopped and think about it. And but at the end of the day, there's people like the lead singer of My Chemical Romance, Gerard Way, who is really just such inspiration as far as like what one person can creatively create, because he I'm not necessarily sure the whole origin of the band, but I know that he was one of the first members. He definitely writes a lot of the music. He definitely has a lot of say and like creativity in the set design, the look of the band, the concept for the albums. He also does other projects such as the Umbrella Academy, which has had 2 or 3 seasons on Netflix. And it was a comic book. Just being a creative, like that's what I wouldn't necessarily label Gerard Way as just the lead singer of a band, but he is also, just a master creative person, which is just so, it really is inspiring. It really is impressive, and going to see a concert and you have thousands of people able to just recite your music, the words that you wrote on paper and you performed, screaming at their top of their lungs, just so enthusiastically and so just like it's their dream come true to finally see you and like be able to hear your music live, and how they've probably listened to every single song that you performed hundreds of times, in their car or in their house, or wherever your music just has millions and millions of plays. And it really is just inspiring about how one person can influence so many people. And that, I mean, I wasn't the typical audience member. I wasn't not everybody there has the same demographics as me, for sure. And no offense. Anyway, but like just to have such a wide variety of people that just, you can reach and inspire and talk to and affect emotionally is just something that is so impressive and awe-inspiring and awesome. And I was just so happy to actually go. Like I said, I realized how much more of a fan I actually was of their music, how much more of their music I actually knew once I was actually there, and singing most of the songs from the bottom of my heart. That's not an actual part of their music, but that's just me. Okay, I thought that was gonna be something like this. Anyway, that's all I got for as far as my musical creativity right now. I'm working on it, just like I'm working on these videos. All right, moving on from My Chemical Romance. Then I find myself back at home, and I see myself, using my phone. I mean, this is where this all started, was just how much I was looking at my phone and how much I was basically scrolling Reddit. I wasn't posting, I wasn't commenting, I was just looking at Reddit, just scrolling, doom scrolling, as they say. And, I started setting app timers on my phone, and it started off with just Reddit, and then I found myself just moving to other apps, Facebook, Instagram Reels. I don't spend a whole lot of time on TikTok. I don't really like TikTok, but you know what? I probably, if I did set timers on those two other apps and I set them to an hour each, and you know what? I use all three apps almost an hour a day. I mean, yesterday I was off work and I was trying to be lazy because, I had done my workout the day before. So it's a rest day. And I ended up using all three apps for the hour allotment. And I'm probably going to have to shorten it because I really just don't want to keep looking at my phone so much. I want to be able. I'm gonna try and use the journal app, try and write down some more ideas for things to talk about, some more video ideas for myself, and maybe some other apps for like designing or just trying to sit down. And I know this isn't a full keyboard. And I'm kind of BSing when I'm playing right now. It's not super, but I'm kind of figuring out how to just kind of figure out a little ditty to play here and there. But it'd be pretty cool to learn how to play like just one whole song from front to back on this little keyboard. I know it's not a full range, but it is something I can work with. So there's that. Yeah, so I'm working on creating videos, and I know it's some of the advice is to really just kind of narrow down on a niche and target that audience. Maybe you don't. Some of the some of the creators that talk about creating YouTube videos don't really say that you should just kind of target to everybody. But the thing is, you should just kind of start creating videos and find what lands, and then kind of create more videos for that audience. So maybe I'm working on that a little bit. What I did start doing is a news review. So basically, my thought process is that I'm taking what I know. I do have a political science degree, and some of the more important things, or the most important thing that I learned in my political science degree, is to cite your sources. And what I mean by citing your source is you have to be able to say where you got a piece of knowledge from. So when you're writing an essay trying to argue a one point or the other, you should be able to find facts to back up that argument. And when you write that paper and use that fact of knowledge, you have to be able to write a little note as to where that information came from. So a lot of what I'm doing is I'm trying to look at the news and just also kind of decipher it using a lens of trying to cut the BS out. Well, okay, so basically I take 3 different websites, one with a centrist or more of an independent view, usually a left-leaning news source and a right-leaning news source, and I try to assemble what is the most important things that they're saying and what kind of biases each of them have and how that affects what they're reporting on. So that's kind of something that updates regularly. So there's always something new to talk about. I mean, it's always going to kind of evolve and touch on the same subjects here and there. But, it kind of gives me new content to always kind of talk about. So something new for the video. It also allows me to work on just reacting quickly to information. Kind of not really great at it. I mean, it's only in the first 2 videos, but it is something that I'm interested in. It's something that I want to keep deciphering. So personally, I find the news to be important. I know that one of the reasons that I say I'm on Reddit is to get the news, but that was a lie. And then Reddit's also pretty left-leaning, even for my taste. So I'm trying to get more stories, more opinions, or more, not more opinions, but more sides of the news. So working on that. Tune into that. It's going to be called Front Page News with Greggy P. Very excited about that. And then I'm also trying to make like a top 10 kind of videos every week where I have a subject with like 10 subpoints. I just recorded real quick 10 ways to become a better person. So I'm really kind of just trying to hit on. So the podcast, I know this is going to sound all scatterbrained and all over the place, but the podcast is a live stream. It's kind of trying to follow just the podcast that I watch, which is more like comedians who just talk about normal things and trying to make it funny. And I'm not really being funny right now. Uh, uh, yeah, that's all I got for humor right now. More just rambling. Obviously, I'm talking about content creation versus content consuming a lot. That's kind of like the backbone or the main purpose as of right now. But it's also me just practicing talking. Blah 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 blah. Um, and it's just kind of getting into YouTube in general as to how I want it to work or how it should work as far as developing like watch hours basically is you just basically start creating videos, put them into the void, and even though nobody's gonna watch this, eventually, if someone becomes a fan, someone really enjoys what I'm saying and thinks what I have to do or say is kind of worthwhile, they just start watching my videos and they just kind of keep them playing, and then they start gaining more watch hours over time, and that's just kind of like the name of the game at that point. So oh, speaking of signing your sources, this next thing I definitely picked up in another video. What I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos based on creating YouTube videos. So a lot of creators will basically just create videos about making videos, and I totally forget the name of the guy that I'm about to like quote this from. That is my bad. I did not create a bibliography correctly for this video, and I apologize. But basically what he was talking about as far as recommendations, or basically the YouTube video was called 52 Weeks Later, posting as a new content creator. And he was saying one of his tips, he had like 52 rules. And basically one of the tips or the rules that he had was just make sure you're having fun with it. And I'm really trying to have fun with it. I'm trying to just actually enjoy the process. I don't want to burn myself out in editing, so that's why I'm kind of doing this live stream podcast for now. And I know it's not the best way to get views. I know it's not going to garner a whole lot of attention. I think only like your subscribers will really see that you're going live. And you can make it a video or like post it as a video basically when you're done. And that's what I'll do. Obviously, that's what I've been doing. And yeah. So, in other news, I'm having a really hard time relaxing. I don't know about you, but if you let me know if this is you. Did you stop drinking like 99.5% of the time? Have you stopped smoking weed every day all together? And now you just can't relax. Now you have a hard time just relaxing. That's me. I spent a lot of time working out still. I used to smoke before I would go to the gym or go for a run, just out of habit, just out of routine. Drinking, I used to do to sleep better, and it's been a couple of years without that. I really don't miss drinking, to be honest. I used to have to drink every day. I mean, not every day, but like to like fall asleep, I would need a couple beers, it felt like. And now I just exercise and rattle my brain around until I'm like completely dead tired, and then I just go to sleep. I fall asleep easier that way. So, but yeah, like just not working, like literally just being able to like stay at home and like do something that I used to enjoy is a little bit harder now. I mean, maybe I might be thinking this because I was playing a game called Kingdom Come Deliverance, where you're basically a medieval peasant that, through tragedy and events, have to become more of a knight and nobleman or something like that. I don't know. I just started playing the game, but I'm on a mission where I am not having fun. And you know what? I've decided, if I'm not having fun, I'm not going to do it. Am I having fun right now? I feel like a crazy person. I feel like, I went for like a 6 or 7 mile run earlier today at 7 and 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I've been recording videos ever since. Is that fun for me? Yes, I'm having a great time. Anyway, that's my life. And I don't know if that's just me getting older. That's just me trying to. Having a podcast has been something I've been thinking about for years now, for literal years. And I would like this. I bought this microphone and this camera like 5 years ago, maybe longer. And now I'm literally at episode 8 of this podcast. I had a YouTube channel before this one, and I kind of wanted to delete it for the same reason, where it got sent to people, which kind of f's up the algorithm and doesn't really recommend it to other people based on like the interest of what I was hoping people would have interest in. But you know what? I'm just hoping that it all works out for itself. And it's not important. Getting views right now isn't super important. If it's like a year from now and I'm still like floundering and I'm not having fun with it, maybe I'll start a new YouTube channel and kind of take a different direction with it. Because I, as much as I love my job, yeah, I just love it so much. So I would never quit. But being a creator, there's going back to like talking about Gerard Way and how there's so many people willing to like pay money to go to his concerts, and there's creators that have regular viewers, and there's a podcast that I don't want to name because I don't know who hates it and who doesn't. That's gonna cross reference in my fan base at some point, but they're able to have a whole studio. Actually, there's multiple. Now that I think about it, there's multiple podcasters that I know where that's their basically full-time job, where they're able to just record a few times a week. They have a whole staff that they pay for. They can afford a whole studio and team and everything to like create, and that would be such an amazing thing. I really do consider myself a business. I am a manager. I do run a business. Believe it or not, I'm actually in charge of people. And I hope they never see this ever, because I don't want to talk about it outside of work. Because you know what? It's like this, where I am very good at compartmentalizing things. I have very good ways of separating different aspects of my life, which I don't know is healthy anymore, to be honest. So if I was able to like actually just focus on one thing and make that my me, that I feel like that'd be a lot healthier for me. I'm not saying having my job and doing this is unhealthy for me, but I'm not saying it causes me mental strain. Like I said, I'm able to like stop taking drugs and alcohol, and I feel great. I feel fantastic. So, I'm just at a good place, and I just want to be able to make something, and I really want to be able to help people, and make like the just the power of like music or being able to make somebody laugh is just so incredible. And I've always looked up to that, and I've always found that amazing. And I try not to be hard on myself and say that's something that I can never be, that I don't have the talent or the skills to do such a thing. But here I am working on both of those. So yeah, so enjoy these videos of me while I still have hair. I took a shower today, and it felt like half of my head fell out and went down the drain. Probably gonna try and shave my head here soon. I'll probably let my hair grow back out. I don't think I'm gonna keep the bald look if I do shave my head, but it is something that How's it look, chat? How's my hair? How's my hairline? Okay, now that it's dried, it doesn't look so bad. You can't really see any scalp, I guess, huh? Can you? I washed it. It looks. Oh, is that a bald spot or is just from parting? Do I have the friar monk look going on? It's really noticeable. Is it noticeable? Helps if I keep my head in view. Anyway, don't really want to shave my head, but I hate having hair, to be honest. There's just so much to do, so much more to care about and work on, and I just want to be able to not worry about it, not worry about how I look so much. Yeah, alright. Well, thanks again for tuning in. I've had a great time talking to you. I've had a great time just talking about what's going on with the channel, talking about my dreams and visions and my hopes and goals. And let me know what your hopes and goals, boats and hoes. Let me know what your goals and dreams and visions and what are you working on? What are you doing? What's happening? What's cracking? Hopefully, I can get a second person in here, so I'm not just talking to myself for a full half hour at some point. But sometimes my equipment just doesn't really want to work that well, and that's just the way the cookie crumbles. Yeah. Thanks for tuning in. If there's anybody listening out there, gonna go work on editing some videos. I just needed to actually have a podcast for the week. Had some good things to talk about. I only want to keep these to a half an hour because, I've talked for probably about over half an hour with all the other videos that I've been doing today. So it's a lot of talking for me. I still got to work at like 4 o'clock. Yeah, crazy. I work 4 to like 2 o'clock tonight. So, that's my life. Anyway, appreciate y'all coming in. I'll play some diddlies to on the way out. So yeah, thanks. Just kidding. That's enough.